children, the children of Zion. We have been left here to defend humanity's right to exist. No matter what the machines believe, we belong here, at this place, at this time. And with that, I present this revolutionary love letter to those who came before. Let's go. They call me Speed Rider, but never no heat hider. But I'm digital, fighting wars no one's hit to. Matrix Division Network System point two. Called the one, the Neo, the Novice, the Noose. Or Trinity will execute. Between the viral agents flagrant, engaged.
Spoilers, people. Black Lives Matter. The other one's Stone. Don't give us your shit about Blue Lives Matter or All Lives Matter. It's not, no. Just no. My name is Bill.
I'm Noelle.
And we were all getting ready for Pride until the world started burning.
Yeah.
So...
Well, I mean, the world was sort of on fire before, and it's worse now.
Yeah. So we're pivoting because while Stonewall was a riot, we're all in the riot state now. And we're just going to go through and talk about that. I'm just going to skip the business. If you don't know the business by now, we're just trying to go through and get things done. Everything's going to be on our show notes. Go check it out there. That's all I'm going to say right now. That's easy. But I will just say, if you want to talk about this or anything else during Pride or the protest, you can email us at X-Chromosomepodcast.com. There's also a contact form now on our contact page at X-Chromosomepodcast.com if you don't want to go through and go into your email and send it to us. So you have options now, people. So, all right. World burning. Not just United States, but Australia too. And in other countries.
Yeah. Everybody has decided that the systemic racism shit needs to stop.
Yep. Let's start it off on a lighter note with national anthems and our hero, Lebron James.
See, I'm super far behind with everything because shit's gone sideways at work in a different way. And I had extra shifts over the weekend, and I slept for pretty much 2 days straight on arriving home. It's been work, sleep, work, sleep, work, sleep.
Yeah, because yesterday we were going to do the podcast, and Noelle just was conked out.
I collapsed at 5 o'clock and woke up at 5 o'clock.
Yep. So that's why we're trying to get everything pushed out today, because everything is collapsing, everything is burning, and going from there. But let's talk about Drew Brees and the fact that everybody currently hates him, including high-powered people in sports. Drew Brees decided whole foot in shit. Like,
yes.
Drew Brees decided this is the opportune time to talk about the fact that he doesn't like people kneeling for the anthem protest.
Yeah, this is the time. Right now, when that didn't work, and now we have to, march in the streets during a plague and risk our health. Those of us who have the power to go down there. If you don't, that's okay. There's other ways to help. Don't stress. Find something that fits your skill set.
My household, because we're worried about COVID, what we're doing is we're putting banners on the house that are showing our solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement.
That's a way to help. Donating to your local bail fund.
Going through and shopping at Black-owned establishments and restaurants. Multiple ways that you can go through and help. So even just putting your voice out there, saying that this is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Because silence is compliance.
I've learned a lot past week. God, is it a week?
Yep.
Since this shit started. Frogs. I'm putting my money on frogs next. But, over the past week, I've learned a lot about, logistics and supply lines and a whole lot of military type stuff that goes into supporting protests. If you're scared of, crowds or you're immunocompromised, find out who's running supplies, who's buying water. Find your street medic collective. Donate money to them so they can get water and bandages and tampons and old-fashioned pads, not with wings, the ones that are like six inches thick and are gross and uncomfortable. Those are great pressure bandages. We know the cops are doing violent, horrible things that require triage medics. water, sunscreen. There's a lot you can do. If all you can do is money and yell at people online, that's fine. Yell at other white people who are being disgusting. Write sternly worded letters. So I've seen a lot of posts, and we've shared a couple of them, about how this isn't, revolution isn't a one-lane highway. It's armies need supply lines. Armies need resources. Armies need intel. I'm hooked into a local group who watches an assortment of news feeds of live streams down at the protests, and they're also listening to police scanners, and they're getting information to people who are on the ground. We're hoping to expand to actually have agents out there working as security for street med treatment sites.
Because it's needed now. Cops are invading tents.
Cops are shooting fucking doctors. And they're dumping out supplies. So everybody needs to work together to protect our resources so that we can protest until this is done. We won't quit. And if we mobilize and organize ourselves as well as the police already are, they won't be able to stop us. And logistics and behind the scenes stuff is a great place for white people to be if you cannot stand in front of black bodies at a protest, which is the only other appropriate place for us to be, either in support or between black protesters and the cops. Because this is a them thing. The least we can do is bear the brunt of the violence so they don't have to be brutalized yet again. But anyway, Drew Brees is an asshole.
Yeah, Drew Brees, when he put his foot in the shit, immediately got attacked by NFL quarterbacks Richard Sherman and Michael Thomas. And then LeBron James ripped him a new one.
Wait, is that my Michael Thomas? Is that Can't Guard Mike?
I'm sorry, not Michael. Michael Thomas was a different Michael Thomas.
Different Michael Thomas?
Yeah. I'm sorry, Jamal Adams and Richard Sherman. Michael Thomas came in later. He's with the Philadelphia. The one that I'm talking about is with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, yeah, but was he at Ohio State?
Oh, I don't know if that was that Michael Thomas.
Yeah, jet safety Jamal Adams fucking said a word. That's amazing. And all of it's true. Carson Wentz has spoke out. Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes, Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson expressed their outrage. These are prominent players. Drew Brees is Drew Brees. He's apparently a discount Tom Brady, which is gross all on its own, because we all know how gross Tom Brady is.
Oh yeah, and it is your Michael Thomas. So
yeah.
But yeah, LeBron's comment was, "Wow, man!" Black face palm emoji. Is it still surprising at this point? Sure isn't. You literally still don't understand why Cap was kneeling on one knee. This has absolutely nothing to do with the disrespect of the flag emoji and our soldiers, men and women, who keep our land free. My father-in-law was one of those men who fought well for this country. I asked him a question about it and thanked him for all the time and his commitment. He never found Cap's peaceful protests offensive because he and I both know what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. God bless you.
That's not good. I mean, that's a very Ohio God bless you, and it's not friendly.
Yep.
That is the most polite way that anyone has ever told somebody to cordially and with his deepest regards to go fuck himself.
Oh, Drew.
Drew stepped in shit, and that's not great, because on the other hand, darlings of Louisiana speaking on the issue, former Ohio great and winning LSU Tiger quarterback. You're going to edit out this because I feel dumb that I don't remember his name. Joe Burrow, thank you. Ohio native, former Buckeye, national title winning LSU Tiger, Joe Burrow said, "This is a problem and we need to fix it." I can pull up his exact statement as soon as I find it in my feed. Also, in May, and we missed it, On May 13th, it was 35 years since the Philadelphia police dropped a bomb on a West Philly neighborhood, specifically on the house of a black liberation group called MOVE, killing 11 members and 5 children, including 5 children, destroying 61 homes and leaving 250 people homeless. Despite this event being the only account second to Tulsa of an aerial bombing of U.S. citizens on U.S. soil, no one was ever prosecuted. Because fuck the police.
Joe Burrow's statement. The black community needs our help. They have been unheard for far too long. Open your ears, listen, and speak. This isn't politics. This is human rights.
Yeah. The anti-Drew Brees. The anti-Tom Brady.
I want to bring up a baseball player in this same sense, because he just finished his rookie campaign. Is now has the record for most home runs by a rookie, Pete Alonso of the New York Mets. During this time, he's been speaking out against anybody that is doing the all lives matter bullshit. Anytime anybody tries to throw an all lives matter at him, he goes through and he's basically been trolling them. Alonso first spoke about the death of Floyd on Sunday when he wrote on Instagram that I have a voice and I will not remain silent. My heart has been broken over the murder of George Floyd. I will never know what it feels like to be discriminated against because of the color of my skin. To anyone who faces this type of discrimination, I will fight for you and be an ally. I will always stand with you. There needs to be justice and change made for the better of humanity. Let words be our sword and unity be our armor. Take care of each other. Now, this is like a young dude, a young white dude that could be easily judged. He hasn't stepped into his I can make multi-million dollar contracts stage yet. He's still on the low end of the pay scale when it comes down to Major League Baseball, which is something completely different as it is. But when he wrote this, he wasn't taking anybody's shit when they tried to get the all lives matter bullshit. As a Mets fan, thank you, Pete. You're doing a good job for New York and just for being an ally. So thank you for speaking out.
Okay, on the subject of people who might not have jobs, John Boyega said a word, and it is a sermon worthy of the civil rights movement. Go fucking listen to it. I'm not gonna go into it. Just go find it. It's amazing. And if you look at his hands, he ain't here to play. He is going to hurt you. If he has to. He is not going to gently ask Nazi punks to fuck off. He's gonna beat him up. And I don't blame him.
John Boyega was like, boom, damn.
Yes. The Star Wars franchise does not deserve him. Whiny Star Wars fans absolutely don't deserve him. He is a better fucking member of the rebellion right now than all those fucking X-Wing cosplayers. Well, I can't say all, but a lot of them.
Well, yeah, because we don't know what all of them are doing, but yeah, so.
Yeah, but in terms of people actually living their love of living the understanding of Star Wars and all of that, he's doing it. Which, I mean, props to him. Everybody should hire him because he's amazing. Part of it reminded me of Orlando Jones all season 2 of American Gods. Just the passion in the delivery. That this is from a deep well of generational suffering, which shouldn't be a thing.
It shouldn't. Mark Hamill responded with on Twitter, "Never been more proud of you, John. Heart, Dad."
Everybody's Uncle Mark thinks it's great. Oh, LeVar Burton also did not come to mess around. Sweet, gentle LeVar Burton of our childhood would just fuck the police. No, it wasn't actually fuck the police, but it was, no. He's not putting up with it. He's done. He's very tired because he is older. And he is super ready to be done with all of this racist bullshit. Sesame Street is stepping up and confronting the issue, which is pretty fucking awesome. They're partnering with CNN. So if you have access to that, you will be able to talk to you'll be able to watch the Sesame Street gang in a town hall address these issues. They did it for the COVID-19 lockdowns. Sesame Street has always, its foundation was as an anti-racism movement. And what blows my mind is that there are so many people that miss that. So many people in my generation who sat there with fucking Sesame Street and goddamn Mr. Rogers, rest his sweet soul, and missed the point.
You know what's blowing my mind is something that you posted earlier today.
Is Logan Paul? What the fuck? Logan Paul is, is admitting that he's a dick and he only gets away with 90% of the shit he gets away with. He said 50. I'm going to call him out on that and say 90% of his bullshit because he's a white kid. He actually, took some accountability and said some meaningful things. And what timeline is this? And there's a follow-up to this. Pat Robertson.
Wait, what?
Pat Robertson criticized Trump, probably about the fucking... televangelist Pat Robertson scolded President Donald Trump on Tuesday over his threat to send the U.S. military into American cities to control civil unrest. Quote, "You just don't do that, Mr. President. It isn't cool." In comments posted online by Right Wing Watch, Robertson also called out Trump for getting the tone all wrong in dealing with the people protesting against racial injustice in the wake of the police killing of George Floyd. Quote, "There's a purpose to everything under heaven, you read in the Bible, and there's a time," he said. And I think like now is the time to say, I understand your pain. I want to comfort you. I think it's time we love each other. This is the same Pat Robertson with the history of extremist and homophobic comments. Given that Robertson is usually to be found on the far right, his criticism of Trump caused a stir on social media. The first tweet is in the story we're going to link. States, "You've all been asking who the leader of Antifa is, and boy, have I got a plot twist." And it's, I'm not ready for woke Pat Robertson. Nobody is ready for woke Pat Robertson.
There was, and I'm going to at least find the Twitter link to it, so I can get everything together. But there was a woman that was on TikTok, which TikTok really does go through and feeds Twitter for what they do. But this woman just went off on people that are, say, Black Lives Matter, but they're also homophobic.
Yeah, no. No. I mean...
Black Lives Matter. That means all lives. Not just
all Black lives matter.
Not just the cisgender lives. Not just the straight lives. All Black Lives Matter. It's not just breaking it up. No. She went off. I know I posted that onto our Facebook page, but also posted that into our notes. Because the way that the TikTok stuff goes through on Twitter, they only blink the name of the TikToker at the very end, so it's a pain in the neck to always find.
I don't tick or talk, so
one day we'll get a TikTok ranter to represent us and just here's the rant, go. Not me.
We're also in the timeline where Jim Mattis calls out Trump and defends the protesters. And one of the secretaries of defense went, "Nah, bro."
And also,
oh no, Coda, bad. That's our bus line. They've been delivering cops. Gross.
So, I want to bring this up a little bit because, as we mentioned, the world's not just burning in the United States. It's also Australia is dealing with a lot of this shit too.
Yeah, well, everywhere there are Black people that have been pushed aside, or, indigenous people that have been pushed aside by fucking white people, there's institutionalized racism. But yes, producer Vanessa is in Australia, and she provided us with some inside information. So,
yep, because like United States, Black people and Aboriginal people dying in custody.
A lot.
Aboriginal man said, "I can't breathe" 12 times before he died while being restrained by 5 guards in a Sydney jail.
5 guards.
And it's videotaped. We'll be putting the link up too, because
with content warnings, because Jesus Christ, none of this is good.
Yeah, none of this is good. I feel like I have the content warning everything.
content warning. This entire podcast is about things that are shitty.
Yeah.
Except for, LeBron James and John Boyega and LeVar Burton and everybody who has basically said, no, we don't care anymore. We are tired of being quiet. We are tired. Well, some of them have never really quit being outspoken, like LeBron. That's kind of part of his thing is not taking shit.
See, the way that I see LeBron with not taking shit in general is like he doesn't pinpoint individuals that he's not taking shit from. He's basically not taking shit for the whole cloth. So
yeah, it's society as a whole has no shit that LeBron wants.
Right, but this was like he's literally the king has pointed to Drew Brees and said, "What the fuck."
Yeah, but the most recent murder, the gentleman's name was David Dungay. There is a GoFundMe. Is it GoFundMe? We're gonna put the link.
Yep. There was a GoFundMe.
And we're gonna try to collate a bunch of links to donate, so you know where to start. At least with the bail project in your area. But it was set to $10,000 last week, and it was struggling to get funds. And I haven't clicked the link, but I'm assuming it's a ridiculous number now because $300,000 in the next article she shared in their headline. He died in 2017 in the hands of corrections officers in the wake of this international protest against police brutality. $300,000. Maybe maybe people in Australia didn't get to see what happened to him, but they did get to see George Floyd beg for his life for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. There is a YouTube video that I believe is titled that. I'm not going to share the link because it requires me to click on it, and I don't have the spoons right now to click on it. It's extremely distressing.
I'm wondering if with the Ahmaud Arbery shooting and a Breonna Taylor shootings, I'm wondering if more people are doing deep dives about what the fuck has been happening that hasn't been reported and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited that Breonna Taylor has now got an FBI investigation into what the fuck went wrong there. It spoilers everything.
Shit. I mean, that was a big ass clusterfuck right there. So
yeah, you're not allowed to sleep in your own house while black. What the fuck? And yes, we are two white people, but we're just, the caucasity of other white people is I can't.
We can't even apologize for it anymore because
I'm whitey and I apologize doesn't cover it. I mean, I'm whitey and I apologize, and I'm doing what I can with what I've got to help make it right through helping organize support for the protests, getting funds directed in various places so that medics have supplies and protesters have water and sandwiches, and snacks and things. Protein bars are great. If you're going to donate food, donate protein bars. Dry rations that are easily portable so that they can run and they have the energy to run. Sunblock should be physical and not chemical, so that pepper spray doesn't interact with it in fantastically terrible ways. We'll get a bunch of, as soon as I have everything collated, we will post to our blog and to our Patreon and to our Facebook page. All of this, all of this shit to do, all of the sorts of things you should collect, or basic things like goggles, safety goggles, because they'll help protect eyes against pepper spray.
Yep.
It's and I want to make sure that we take time to talk about I have some podcasts I want to talk about are germane to this. But yes, Indigenous lives are being murdered. There are massive protests in Canada because of a First Nations woman who was pushed off the balcony by the cops and she died. They're pretty upset about that, which they should be. Cops shouldn't be pushing people.
Yeah, one of the Seattle protests that went off that started getting violent was police were basically infuriated by a pink umbrella.
Yeah. Oh no.
We'll be posting video of that because there's ground footage and rooftop footage of basically of a peaceful protest where the cops started the shit.
I live in the greater Columbus area. Every day, the police have started the shit. The protests have been peaceful. The cops start shit.
And
Columbus PD is disgusting, and 99% of them need to be fired. We can keep the rookies because we can teach them, but it's rookies under 5 years.
There's also been cases of now cops kneeling and then using that kneeling to trick protesters into
letting their guard down,
and then tear gassing, pepper spraying, and subduing. So all cops are bastards.
Yes, and slimy bastards. It's
Police.
A cute photo op, the kneeling. It's cute. It's feel good. But when it's bookended by you beating, shooting, and gassing protesters, it don't mean shit.
You know what I've learned about the whole entire thing that's going on? Rubber bullets.
Yeah, they're huge.
Well, I knew that they were huge, but I didn't know the whole thing that they were supposed to be shooting them at the ground.
The thing's the diameter of a goddamn silver dollar or bigger. It's huge, and it's like 4 inches long, so it's like a little chubby dick. And yeah, you can't fire that directly at someone.
People have already lost eyes.
Be horrible. People have lost eyes. They hit with such impact that, I mean, they're causing. There's a technical term for what the skin is doing, but basically they're causing massive skin trauma to the skin where they impact, causing bleeding. I'm sure everybody has seen at least one picture of a protester that's been shot by a rubber or wooden bullet. Yeah, there's wooden ones too, and those are additional bullshit.
Yeah, hundreds march, and also with going through the links that Vanessa sent us is hundreds march in Sydney to protest the Indigenous deaths and George Floyd killings. So This was Tuesday, June 2nd in Australia. So hundreds of people marched Sydney on Tuesday chanting Black Lives Matter and protesting against Indigenous deaths in the custody of Australia and the killing of George Floyd in the United States. Wherever you are in the world and you're listening to this, do what you can to help support these protesters. I don't know what the laws are everywhere else, but do what you can. I want to just, before we go into the podcast part of it, and I wanted to go into the podcast part of it, I just want to bring up one other story that's come up that I really enjoyed about. His name is Raul Dubai. This happened in DC. While the police were trying to go through and get people pounded and like quartered off into like a narrow street, what he did when they were going down his street, he opened his door up and let 60 to 70 protesters into his home to get away from the cops for people that were just trying to get home so they didn't break curfew.
Yeah. Cops have been doing this thing, it's called kettling, basically, which is a lot more friendly than saying they herd you into kill boxes so they can arrest you and, mass gas you and just in general be shitty war criminals. But basically they slowly round you up and round up protesters and pen them in an area and then either wait them out or just go in a pincer movement and take everybody out. It's gross. The Columbus PD is on tape actually hurting protesters, both away from each other and groups into smaller and smaller areas. Last night they trapped a bunch of people on campus specifically to arrest them. So if you live in the area and you can get with groups and set up a challenge and password so that you're not letting some rando into your house, you want to stay safe and not get murdered, because there's opportunistic fucks out there and some white supremacists who might take the opportunity to take out a race traitor if you're white and you let them in.
But yeah, he stayed up all night. Basically every time the cops tried to infiltrate, he was able to be there to stop them from infiltrating. He kept everyone safe, and he only had 2 rules that he had to drop at 2 a.m. on everybody. 1, stop thanking me. 2, stop asking me for my Venmo, because he's a first generation Indian American. He did what I hope anybody would have done in this situation. Even with the whole pandemic going on, you have to do what you can to save your fellow man. We don't need, especially with the pandemic, we don't need a bunch of people being tear gassed or pepper sprayed or flashbanged to death.
And locked into cells or kept on the sidewalk like Cincinnati is being vile as well. I am super embarrassed for Ohio right now because all of our major cities are being vile. I don't know about Dayton. I think Dayton is also being vile, which is dumb because everybody still there remembers the last time racial tensions boiled over, and there's a literal divide in that city. You can tell. So the whole redlining thing is still blatantly obvious. Redlining is hurting Black people into specific districts that are, less desirable. And basically, it's the wrong side of town, or the rough side of town. It's where all the low-income housing is.
Yep.
Here's your second-class citizen ghetto.
I feel that every city has some sort of redlining.
Yeah, because every city mostly predates abolition.
I remember when my family was moving to Baton Rouge. Me and my mom went ahead before everybody else so we could get a house to rent, so everybody would know where to move all of our shit, basically. And we had to go through and use a rental service to try to find a place, because their want ads, or like their classifieds, had nothing, because everybody used these services. And we went to one service and they were like, all right, well, this section has all the college kids from LSU, and you don't want to go north of Florida Boulevard because that's where all the Black people. And I was like, oh, really? Do we have to be like this? And I'm learning because of this. As much as I shit on my own lack of identity and things of that nature, I've really noticed things in my past of, like, I was already saying that shit is fucked up. And I remember blatantly thinking that shit's fucked up, that you're literally saying this is where the Black people live.
Don't go there. The Black people are there. That's disgusting. And
Yep.
I need to go take a second shower. I feel dirty.
All right. Podcasts.
Yes. If you want to start educating yourself without exhausting your Black friends, I would like to recommend the following podcast. Historically Black. It's by APM Reports in the Washington Post. So there was money to throw into the research. Also, In the Dark, Season 2, which deals with the Curtis Flowers case and systemic racism in a small town in the South. He has been tried 6 times for the same crime. 6 times. He just recently went to the Supreme Court and they went, yeah, something shady, do it again. But don't put him in jail. He is free on bond. So he's free for the first time in a long time. Free-ish. And he had to move out of town. He had to leave his hometown for his own safety. And then they're doing a special report on how COVID-19 is affecting the Mississippi Delta. So they're, intersectional. This is how poor people are suffering with this pandemic, which goes into a lot of cool shit, a lot of fascinating shit, like, the intersectionality of poverty and Blackness and health. And Ohio's state Senate, I think we call it a Senate. I don't remember, and I cannot be arsed to look it up right now because I'm mad at most of them.
Wasn't there
not the one who fucking tried who restrained a cop who was abusing a protester? No, she's a goddamn queen.
No, it was more the fact that when you mentioned Ohio and in politics, the Ohio congresswoman that got pepper sprayed.
Yeah, she was stopping a cop. She got up in a cop's face because that cop was doing something shitty, and he maced her. He also maced a city council member in the same moment. So that cop, super fucked up. Yeah, she's a little old woman, bless her. We will have her name. But yeah, she took pepper spray to the face. It's probably not the first time she's been at a civil disobedience demonstration and been brutalized by a cop because old enough. I hope that's not the case, but Ohio is our legislative body, and a representative from Akron has put this forth, trying to get racism declared a public health crisis, and it absolutely needs to. There is so much I could go into. I could spend hours talking about, just from my own basic research, how poverty and systemic racism when it comes to housing and job opportunities and education and all of these things, and the police brutality and generational trauma and lack of access to mental health care and toxic masculinity and just everything is this horrible stew of exhaustion, and the Black experience is terrifying. I don't know how they live. I don't know how they survive.
Also, it just reminded me that a New York State Senator, Zenor Myrie, a Democrat from Brooklyn, of course, Black, he was also pepper sprayed by police during a protest.
What the fuck? Do cops not recognize their employers?
I'm gonna be honest.
Apparently not. Apparently all they see is Black people.
I will be honest in this case. When it comes down to state representatives and things like that, I wouldn't be able to pick them out a lineup, Black or white or brown or whatever color they are, because
you're not generally in charge of keeping them safe.
True.
You would think the police in the state capitol would know the very important people who work there in the fancy building that they're in and around all damn day. You think there'd be a little handout that says, okay, these Black people, don't do bad things to them. Be nice in front of them.
How about
out of self-preservation? I mean,
be nice to all Black people.
Period. Let's be nice to all Black. Let's not be war criminals to all Black people. But you would think that in the state capitol, you would make sure that if you were going to brutalize Black people, you would do it absolutely out of the range of the state legislature or the city council, the people in charge of telling the mayor to pay you. But, that's asking too much. That's asking them to look past Black person. I'm I've never been a fan of Columbus PD, but they're disgusting.
By the way, just to let people know, I'm not talking a lot about Boston because I already talked about Boston. Not here, but on our Twitter. Someone that was live at the protests broke down the shit that happened there, and I did basically a tweet surge of the whole entire thing over on our Twitter. Because as much as I like where I live, we're not angels either. And as much as that they're trying to go through and say, this is bad, this is wrong, well, Marty Walsh, Governor Baker, you need to get off your asses and actually do something. So,
okay, in Columbus area, one more story, and then I'll tell you about Uncivil and Uppity Negress podcast. Those are my last two recommendations. Listen to them. Learn some shit, white people. There's information out there for you to learn, and you could even learn it passively through your ear holes. You're probably still in quarantine, and you need something new to listen to anyway. Binge those podcasts. They're all amazing. I've learned a ton. But this is how widespread everything is. It's a little town near where I live, my little town, which I haven't heard of us having a protest, but then I'm been working, and if we had one, I would try to be down there because it's Sunbury and I live here. This is my shitty little town that I'm from, and I love it, and I want it to be the best little town it can be. But the little town, one town over, is the city of Westerville. Westerville is about as non-confrontational as your average nice little old lady. They're middle class, little upper middle class. They're college town. They're very mild. The people from Westerville are just nice and caring and sweet and compassionate, and you never hear about the Westerville police doing violent things. Never. In fact, the last time I heard the Westerville police in a story, it was because 2 of them were shot in the line of duty responding to a domestic violence incident. That is the last time. That was a couple years ago, and that's the last time I remember hearing anything about the Westerville PD. And I stalk them and everybody else. I stalk all of the local news on Facebook. They're protesting. There was a demonstration out in front of police headquarters with the police involved. The cops knew they were going to be there. That's how big and important this is. That the sleepiest town in the suburbs had a protest. All of the suburbs. There were feeds tonight from all of them. I think from Upper Arlington and Grove City and Reynoldsburg and Westerville, and I don't know if Worthington has had one. They might be too rich and white. Also, that fucker who's in charge of the Daily Stormer lives there, or his dad lives there. So I don't know what's going on with that town. That may be where all the racists live. Don't quote me, but those cops are assholes. They will pull you over for 1 mile over the speed limit if they don't recognize you as being from that town. They know cars. They know the town's cars. It's weird. They're a little creepy. Some good restaurants, though.
One thing that's been happening, while I was looking for my thing for the Boston thing, this is gross, but things are helping to get rid of these people anyway. There was something going on called the George Floyd Challenge.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
Is that the one where it's just gross white boys kneeling on each other?
Pretty much. There's, according to Vice, or I'm sure, according to Heavy.com, it has already led to arrest. In the UK, it looks like one of the students said that his account was hacked. Bullshit. And his college is looking into it. Minnesota construction firm fires workers who took part in the George Floyd Challenge. So people are being shady as fuck, and people that do this type of thing suck.
See, white people are being super white, and it's super annoying.
High school seniors in Missouri lost their college admission for participating.
Good! Fuck them. Missouri was actually a Confederate state. Just so everybody remembers, they're the South. And
I saw one of them that said the kid was getting ready to go into the U.S. Air Force, and someone tagged the Air Force in it.
And they went, "This is not good. We don't need him."
Yeah.
She's good. I linked the 8 minutes and 46 seconds thing under spoilers tag on the feed and Discord because yikes, I don't have the spoons for it. But yeah, this is a shitty media blackout sort of thing. We should probably lead off with the podcast. First and foremost, we need to be listening to Black people. We need to be listening to Black women because they have it shittier. Because they have all the negative modifiers, and we need to hush. We were hoping to get some Black voices for tonight, but we didn't want you to think we were ignoring this.
And this actually came about last minute in regards to our programming. We actually had something completely different planned. Like we mentioned, this was going to be about Pride. We had a guest that was talking about LGBTQ history issues. They will be on next week because we still should go through and do that, even if the world is burning, because that's also important issues. Stonewall was a riot, so we got to remember that during these times too.
If it wasn't for Black women, queer Black women, we would not have Pride. So yes, Black lives matter more than white lives, because most of the awesome shit that we appreciate that we have now is because Black people were tired of being treated like shit.
All right, I think we should go through
the cops.
I think because we should go through and wrap things up. I just want to end my own thing by saying, hey, white people, stop quoting Dr. King.
Quote it correctly.
No, don't quote it at all.
Yeah, also don't quote it at all. Also, go read the fucking autobiography of Malcolm X. And Their Eyes Were Watching God. There's a ton of awesome shit you can read to educate yourself.
Support Black businesses, restaurants. anything you can during this.
Authors, everything. Yeah. Black independent bookstores that'll ship to you are a great place to buy Black authors to educate yourself on some shit.
So you're stuck in the house anyway, learn. If you're not out protesting or out helping for the protesting, you're stuck in the house, do what you can to learn.
Yes, because we can't win if we're not educated as to what we're fighting.
What we're doing out here right now, this is me using my voice because this is the only thing that I could personally do on my aspect of things. However, Black Lives Matter, period. I think we can pretty much wrap it up there.
Yeah. Black Lives Matter. Support your bail fund. Feed the protesters.
All the links will be in our show notes. That being said, my name is Bill.
I'm Noelle and 1312. Craig, get out. Craig, get out. Bye, bot.
My Discord's not cooperating.
I see that we have a problem. Our fantastic outro.
At this place, at this time. And with that, I present this revolutionary love letter to those who came before. Let's go. They call me Speed Rider, but never known heat hider. But I'm digital, fighting wars no one's hit to. Matrix Division Network System Point 2. Called the one, the Neo, the Novice, the Noose. For Trinity will execute. Between the viral agents flagrant, engaged. Most basic of states undertake. Making model, which coddle the nature of humanity. Basic profanities into the insanity that's branded me. Give it up with the reloaded messaging. Broke it down between the test and blessing. But before I get lost in this train of lyrics, let me reverse to raise the solemn spirits. Getting weary of the revelation theory. Fabrications constructed from peaceful memory. Comparisons between the old and black queries. Fragmented delusions made up like you don't hear me. For Zion, we fight on. For Zion, Father, Son, Holy Ghost. For Zion, we fight on. For Zion, Father, Son, Holy Ghost. I give you 2 hearts and 2 lives. Through the clouds, we'll see the skies. The sun shines down on our faces before descending into hell's traces. We can't replace this. EMP's ready to be unleashed. Nebuchadnezzar, slipstreaming like a beast. Oracles architecting a congregated feast. String them up like a martyr and will know peace. Blotto pointers, don't see the message. Too busy, look at the cameras, judgmental dresses. The siblings graduate could only be an epic, but this won't be regarded, cause their hands beckon. No matter your opinion, machines pouring in. Guns blazing, Zion needs saving. Humanity crazy. On us, we can blame it. Life form tubes, babies wasted. Human embryos in a slave ship. In a slave ship. But down to the words, their bones, their purpose. Lift up the human spirit, the soul. It's worth it. For Zion, we fight on. For Zion, Father, Son, Holy Ghost. For Zion, we fight on. For Zion, Father, Son, Holy Ghost.
Now that you pass it, I think they getting bloated. They gas and they show it. Well, time to get reloaded. More Sonic than Neo and me and Alpha come and take this and make this so colorful. You think this was Animatrix? When you hear this style, yeah, you best go ahead and take a whiff. Because once we're done, you feel more blending than Agent Smith. Business by day, hacker by night, party mullet time. Slow it down before you stop. Bullet rhyme. Tried to take it, the world was fake-ish. Back in time, the machines had made this. Even if the world could get no faker, we got a crew, Morpheus, Trinity, and the key maker. Never fail to neglect through all the fun. There will always be a chosen one. If you got a high rank diploma, I'll disable you even if I fall into a coma. Coma.
Father, Son, Holy Ghost. For Zion,